Beneath the layers of time and history lies a civilization that thrived over 4,000 years ago. A civilization so advanced, so methodical in its planning, and yet so mysterious in its decline, it still confounds historians and archaeologists. This is the Indus Valley Civilization, a society that redefined what it meant to live in harmony with nature and community. But how did such an extraordinary culture rise to prominence? And why did it disappear so completely? The story begins in the lush plains of the Indus River, a region stretching across what is now Pakistan, northwest India, and parts of Afghanistan. Here, the Indus people built some of the earliest urban centers in human history. Cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro weren't just settlements. They were marvels of engineering and organization. Streets were laid out in precise grids, buildings were constructed with uniform bricks, and advanced drainage systems ensured cleanliness and order. These were not chaotic, sprawling towns. They were deliberate, well-planned hubs of activity. Public baths suggest a society that prioritized hygiene. Massive granaries indicate careful planning for food storage, hinting at a robust agricultural system. The presence of docks and standardized weights points to a thriving trade network, not just locally, but stretching as far as Mesopotamia. But what makes the Indus people truly fascinating is not just what they achieved, but how they achieved it. Unlike other ancient civilizations, there's no evidence of towering palaces or grand temples. There are no inscriptions glorifying kings or conquests. This was a society that, as far as we can tell, operated without a centralized monarchy. Power seems to have been distributed, with decision-making possibly shared among local councils or merchant groups. And then there's their script, an undeciphered language found on hundreds of seals, pottery shards, and tablets. These symbols remain one of archaeology's greatest puzzles. Were they records of trade, religious texts, stories of daily life? The lack of a Rosetta Stone equivalent has left this language shrouded in mystery, like whispers from a world we cannot yet hear. As we dig deeper into the ruins of this civilization, a picture of its daily life begins to emerge. Archaeological finds include toys, tools, jewelry, and sculptures. These weren't just functional items, they were beautiful, meticulously crafted, reflecting a society that valued aesthetics alongside practicality. Small figurines suggest religious or cultural practices, though their exact purpose remains unclear. But beneath this thriving exterior, cracks began to form. By around 1900 BCE, the cities of the Indus began to decline. People left their homes. Trade networks unraveled. The vibrant, bustling streets grew silent. Why? The answers are elusive. Some theories point to a changing climate. The once mighty Saraswati River, which was vital to their agriculture and trade, began to dry up. Others suggest tectonic activity may have caused earthquakes or redirected river flows, disrupting the delicate balance that sustained their cities. Then, there's the possibility of overexploitation. The advanced irrigation systems that once nourished their crops may have led to salinization of the soil, rendering the land infertile. Some archaeologists even propose internal strife, though the lack of evidence for widespread conflict complicates this theory. And yet, their disappearance isn't the end of the story. Genetic studies suggest that the descendants of the Indus Valley people didn't vanish. They integrated into the populations of South Asia, their legacy continuing in subtle but enduring ways. The cultural practices, languages, and traditions of modern India and Pakistan carry echoes of this ancient society. What remains is an unsettling realization. A civilization so advanced, so harmonious, was not immune to collapse. They adapted to their challenges for centuries, yet something, a combination of natural disasters, environmental mismanagement, or perhaps even societal changes, was enough to bring them down. There's a certain unease in recognizing the fragility of even the most sophisticated societies. The Indus Valley reminds us that progress isn't permanent, and that the same forces that sustain us can just as easily undo us. And so, as archaeologists continue to sift through ruins, decipher seals, and piece together fragments of this lost world, we're left with more questions than answers. What did they believe? How did they govern themselves? And most hauntingly, what was it like in their final days? Did they realize their world was slipping away? Or did it happen so gradually that no one noticed until it was too late? In the end, the Indus Valley Civilization is not just a story of a forgotten past. It is a mirror, reflecting the triumphs and vulnerabilities of all human civilizations, including our own.